Good morning, everybody.
Good morning.
Welcome to this week's meeting of Essex Business Forum. As you know, my name is David Smile. It's my job to get us through the agenda. I'm, as always, assisted by the leadership team. Could they be outstanding, please? Introduce themselves. Standing, but you don't have to stand up, Brian.
You're tough.
All right,
I've been so. I'm chair of the membership committee and I'm also the official timekeeper.
Morning guys, Ben, education coordinator.
Good morning everybody, Terry, membership and recruit coordinator, and today standing in for Scott, who deals with facts, finances and all that fancy stuff. Friday time.
Good morning, I'm Brian, Social Secretary. More from me later.
It's also fair to say that, of course, Terry is not a handsome face. Right, please be seated. Please be seated. Before we get onto the business of the day, first of all, welcome Chris, who is of course Scott's mum, who all of you will be chatting to. Welcome. You'll see the business end of it, or where we'll behave. Right. First up, performance league, and Terry will tell us about.
So before I go on to where we are this month, we've got it's always nice to hand these out, an outstanding performance award to the lovely Jane.
And we spelled my name right.
Yes.
We're just into this month. We're on the second week in. As of the end of the first week, leadership. John Hammond's in the lead, quite a long way. Like a long way. Matt Barry second. Right, Matt Barry second. Myself third, and then it's only 1 month in, all to play for. But yeah, John's quite a long way ahead of me. So got to thank John.
Right, thanks Terry. Right, the education presentation.
Thank you very much. Things like I'm in the top. It's like... Well, good morning, guys. Can anyone tell me what these are? Packet cards. There we go. Well done, Tina. What games can we play with the packet cards? Snap, poker, strip poker. You strip, I'll poker. How about rummy?
Can I start?
Yeah, that one.
I know you've never heard of it.
Patience, yeah. Okay, so obviously pack of cards. We've got 52 cards within this pack. Each one of them has their own individual importance into playing the game. So if I was to, let's say, take out that, right, take a third out there, could we still play successfully Snap, Poker, Rummy? We can't, can we? Because the pack is incomplete, because aren't here. So let's think of EBF as a pack of cards. So obviously in the pack of cards we've got a couple of jokers, maybe the odd queen. However, each one of those is important and has a very important role to play within our pack. So if somebody misses a meeting and does not attend, then the pack is incomplete. So we as a group are incomplete, which means that we can't give or receive those referrals or pass the businesses around. Now, I know we're coming into holiday season now, and there's always going to be times when we can't attend, whether that's health, maybe it's taking the kids out, or maybe it is holidays. But if you can do your best, especially over the holiday period, that you can either attend where you can, but if you can't have a substitute, then maybe it's somebody that works within your team, within your business, or maybe it's a visitor that you'd like to get along to EBF. Bring them along as a substitute to stand in on your behalf so they can see and hopefully end up joining. So, always make a point to attend the meetings when you can to make sure that our pack is 100% complete, and so we can really help ourselves and help everybody else. But for now, thank you for listening.
Thank you.
Instead of, okay, pack, settle down. Right. Are there any membership matters that need to be reported to the pack? No. Okay. Let's approach the first major part of the meeting, which of course is the 60-second round. As usual, before doing so, I'm passing on a business card box that will circulate. Please make sure you're adequately represented in there, and please take out cards to enable you to effectively questions. Also sending that round, particularly the referrals and the thanks for the money, please. And that leaves us with the meeting itself. Our Belden after 50 seconds will do, and after 60 seconds we'll do. When you hear the second one, wind up and sit down, or get it done before the second one goes. The Oscar was won by Glenn. She's polished it and it's sitting there in real order. She will be listening very carefully and will award the Oscar at the end of the round. To assist her in doing that, she of course will, as usual, go first. So Leanne will be first, and she'll be followed by Nicole.
Good morning everyone, I'm Leanne from Brentwood Interiors, and I'm an interior designer, and I like to help my clients transform their homes into functional and beautiful living spaces. This week I'd like you to listen out for some words that people might use about their home. They're frustrated, they're unsure, they're worried, and they're overwhelmed with how to change or update or rearrange their home. If you hear anybody use those words about their home, please put them in touch with me, and with my design consultation, 90 minutes in their home, I can help them with lots of ideas and inspiration. Thank you, that's Leanne.
Thank you, Leanne. Nick, you're followed by Brian, who I suppose we're kind of welcoming back as well.
Well, good morning. My name is Nick. I'm a structural engineer. One of the several things I do is provide a structural inspection survey. On this particular point, I had a call yesterday from a lady who said the car has crashed into the front of her property. I had a similar call 2 weeks ago with a car crashing into a block of flats actually. I was out of the office at the time, so I picked up the message. By the time I called her back, she said, "Thank you so much for calling me. That problem has actually been resolved. The building control office, the council's come on, sorted us out." And she thanked me. The point I'm making here was she knew she needed a structural engineer, so she googled structural engineers in the area, and she saw one or two that caught her eye. But she thought, I'm going to check out the Google reviews, and she saw mine and thought, that stands out, far better than the others. Quite rightly too, of course. So that's why she called me. I just want to say that. My name's Nick, I'm a structural engineer.
Thanks, Nick. Brian, you're followed by Melissa.
Thank you. Morning, everybody. I'm a hypnotherapist, pilgrim hypnotherapy. Recently finished therapy with a lady, dentist. She had a practice with her husband. She had OCD. It came on about 10, 12 years ago. Every day she picked up her 2 young boys from school. As soon as they got in, clothes off in the shower, clean clothes on, clean clothes the following day for school. She also assisted her husband much to his protestations that when he got home from the practice, clothes off into the shower, clean clothes, clean clothes for the following day. She's driving the family absolutely mad. Now, regression revealed that some 9 years ago she had a patient who had a rotten teeth and had dreadful toothache. She extracted a couple, relieved the pain, he was so pleased he got out of the chair, planted a kiss on her cheek, she did that, and there's blood and saliva dripping down her cheek, and that created the OCD. Therapy was to, look, I've got 3-4 minutes and don't hear yourself. No, the therapy was to convince her subconscious she actually survived that. She didn't die, and she was the living proof out there to let the subconscious know. Her husband and the 2 boys are delighted. They can go into the garden, play football, get mucky, and not have to jump into the shower. That's why I'm a therapist. Dual gripping therapy. Help is just a phone call away. Thank you.
I daren't ask what OCD means. Right. Melissa, you're followed by Paul.
Good morning, everybody. Melissa Jackson, chemical artist, I'm a licensed insolvency practitioner, as you know. Whilst I deal with my fair few number of liquidations companies, what we do, and our primary objective is always to save businesses. So many of our clients that we're seeing at the moment are having to deal with post-pandemic issues such as the bounce-back loans, increased cost of materials, increased employment costs as the cost of living crisis is considered employees and attainable, and they can't always pass on those costs to their clients by increasing the cost of their services or their products. So in circumstances like that, what we would do is we would go into the business and we'd talk to them about how they can become adaptable to the new circumstances that they're facing, deal with their rising costs, and hopefully avoid insolvency. If you know anybody who wants to know what their options are to avoid insolvency, please push them my way.
Yeah, thanks very much, Melissa. Paul, you're followed by Matt.
Yeah, morning everyone. Paul Rogers from Synergy Commercial Finance, all your business and commercial borrowing needs. Quite appropriate to follow this today. You have to watch it. This week I've had a couple of inquiries from people who, listen to saying really, who are struggling with their own cash flow. They're finding their clients aren't paying them. That in turn means they can't pay their bills, they can't pay their wages, they can't meet their own commitments. So we're looking at ways to help and support them, and that may well be through unsecured funding, which can be quite quick to obtain, or in the case where they've got outstanding invoices which are still due to them. We might be able to raise finance just on that one invoice to help them get the cash they need to pay their own bills and meet their own commitments they've got. So if you know anyone who's struggling to pay their bills, who's struggling with their own cash flow, my attitude is it costs nothing to talk, so I'm more than happy to listen and talk to anyone. It's Paul Rogers, Synergy Commercial Finance.
Yeah, thank you, Paul. Matt, you're followed by Ruben.
Good morning, everyone. Matt Barry from BlueServe. As I think many or some of you do know, we are all about giving opportunities to young designers. We're right in the middle of our summer work experience program. We have a young lady called Olivia, who's a postgrad at the moment. We've got a year 10 coming in next week, and then the week after we have a year 11 who has autism. And with our association with SNAP, it's something we're really keen on providing all of these possibilities to everyone, but being able to see the creativity that these young people have and be able to sort of light that light bulb with them to spur on their career is something that we're very passionate about and we obviously love doing. So we are in that, all the team are involved, and we're really looking forward to seeing how they progress their careers. But we're still very keen to look for anyone that has any work experience requirements, whether it's friends, daughters, sons, whatever you might have. So please feel free to get them to get in touch with us. It's very good to do so.
Thank you, Matt. Rosemary, followed by Toby.
Good morning, everyone. I'm Rosemary, your personal travel agent. I offer a bespoke service that you won't find on the high street or on the internet. When you contact me, I will respond promptly and efficiently, and no call centre or waiting in the queue. I can tailor-make your trips or supply you with the like-for-like quotes generally from all major tour operators like EasyJet, Jet2, TUI, etc. I love specialising in tailor-made tours, and I'm working with a couple at the moment. One's a trip to Peru, taking in Machu Picchu for a single lady who has a short window of time, and a trip for a couple who I booked their wedding in Sri Lanka 20 years ago, and now they want to go back and celebrate their 20th anniversary. I'm asking today for you to refer me to any friends, family or colleagues who would like that personal service. There is no hidden cost for my service. I'm paid by the tour operators, the airlines, etc., so it doesn't cost you any more to use me. So buy a ticket and take a ride.
Thank you very much. Toby, you're followed by Mike Skinner.
Good morning, everybody. I'm often working with people who need direction, who need a plan, need a bit of structure going forward. I'm talking to a potential new client at the moment who's in just that position. He's got some great ideas for what he wants to do with his business, but he doesn't have a clear vision of why he wants to do it and what sort of lifestyle he wants to create for himself. I find that so many business owners don't have that vision, and we need that vision, or that we can reverse engineer it into a milestone-led plan to really push things forward. And they often need someone to discuss strategies with and ideas, and ensure that they're going in the right direction. It's all about direction, and they come to me for that sort of advice and guidance. So if you know anyone in that position who needs guidance, who needs to move things forward, particularly if they're asking the what now question after the last few years, then please do put them in touch with me. It's Toby Acton, Pole Position Business Solutions, keeping your business on track and putting you in a winning position.
Thank you very much, Toby. Mike Skinner, followed by Ben.
Good morning, Mike from Brentwood Media. So a little while ago I mentioned that we were doing some drone flight of sort of like plans near Stansted Airport, which was a real pain in the neck because you had to sort out not only permissions to fly there, flight plans, specific times, very accurate locations, get in contact with the air traffic control about it. That went ahead yesterday, all well planned out, ready to go. We got to the site, the building was completely covered in scaffolding. And went, oh, this isn't going to look the best. And she goes, oh no, can we do it on the building around the corner instead? That would look nice. So we got on the phone to the air traffic control and Stansted Police and had a few last words and things, gave them the coordinations, and they all got done at the end of the day. It was like that, and it wasn't me. But yeah, we can sort that sort of stuff out then when we need to. And at the end of the meeting today, on a separate note, we're going to do some headshots if anyone needs them over here. I think we've got 3 people signed up already, if anyone needs them do, just pop them on. Yeah, we'll do. It's Mike at Brentwood Media.
Yeah, Mike. Ben, you're followed by Stuart.
Good morning, guys. Ben Goulding from Utility Warehouse. I help people save money on their essential household utilities. Now, it's Wimbledon fortnight, so let me serve up our fixed deal with an ace tariff that will net you a great saving, and you'll definitely want to make a racket about it to all your friends. Now, you may be thinking, you cannot be serious, but with over 900,000 families already taking advantage of the simplicity, savings, and our championship-winning service. And the ball's in your court. With our cashback card in your kit bag, you'll completely smash it. Last month, I got £30. Love! So, sit down with your strawberries and your pims and give me a call, and I will show you and how you can help the people you really care about to take the advantage. And I know it will be game, set, and match to Utility Warehouse. That's Ben Goulding, Utility Warehouse. 59 seconds.
Well done, Ben. I'm tired. I'm sure the rest of the pack are. What about that, Toby, for an extended metaphor? Right, Stuart, you're followed.
Really?
Go on. You're only here to serve.
Very good. Good morning, everybody. Stuart from Everything Networks. I'm looking for businesses that want to improve the way that they communicate with their customers. It's really important, when customers are trying to contact a business, what's more frustrating than phoning into a customer or phoning into one of your suppliers and being held in a queue? and being told that your call is very, very important. You see, it's not very important, you're not answering it. Okay? We can offer solutions where, for instance, we can tell people their position in a queue. We can give them an option to press a button and we'll call you back when your call gets to the front. Okay? Really helpful for things like doctors, surgeries, dentists, everyone who has a lot of kind of call queuing facilities. They're really simple, easy things to add on to telephone systems now. It used to be hugely expensive and now they're really simple solutions to install. So if you're struggling and you're trying to get through to your dentist, your GP, those sort of things, please put them in touch with me. All we need to do is have a little chat. Okay? Thanks very much.
Yeah, you're right, you a referral from my GP. Best of luck with that.
I'll never get through them.
Yeah. Right, James, you're next, followed by Vincent.
Well, James from BHK Insurance, general insurance brokers, so we will have a crack at most things. I mentioned fairly recently motor traders, because we have been getting some really good success with them. But another reason to come to us rather than an online or another broker, I had a motor trader call me in the week to change his address. 100 yards down the road, was adjacent street. Running through the insurers, they went out with £475, plus insurance premium tax, plus a fee. Of course, rather than go to the client and say, I have £500 something from you, I went back to the insurers, called them idiots, and they eventually, after several escalations, agreed to wipe out the additional premium because his property backed onto his old property and it made no sense at all. But he got that because we took time with him rather than just going, right, that's that. So James, BHK Insurance, getting it right so we can both sort of sound it at night, but separately.
Thank you. Vincent, you're followed by Mike.
Morning, Vincent from Speed Print, Ganshill Village, for a very long time. Just want to show you some of the printing that we've been doing this month. So, pocket folders or presentation folders with a nice gloss finish. Oh, we've got here. Oh, we've got some flyers. I only wanted them printed one side, can't understand why. Because when you drop this through the letterbox, right, it lands that way up. Letterheads for firm solicitors, some brochures, some menus, blah, 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 order of service booklets. I've got a new tagline, and the tagline is, thank you. Autumn, winter, spring or summer, give me a call when you need a plumber. No, that's not it. Let's try summer, autumn, winter, spring. If you need a printer, give me a ring. Yeah, not quite. So let's go winter, spring, summer, autumn. Nothing rhymes with autumn. I think, oh, hang on a minute, this is the one. Spring, summer, autumn, winter. Give me a call when you need a printer.
Yeah. Good. Try something with orange next. Right, Mike. You're followed by Leanne.
Bear with me
Morning everyone, I'm Mike from LSA Systems, the group's IT service provider. This week I want to talk to you about social media, Facebook in particular, and what you should and shouldn't do to protect yourselves from unscrupulous individuals. A friend of mine this week sent me a Facebook friend request. What was strange about this, apart from someone wanting to be my friend, was that we were already friends on Facebook. I did what any of us would do, told my friend about the strange invite, and needless to say, she'd not sent it to me. When she asked me what I thought she should do, not being a big Facebooker, I advised her to change her password and send the usual global post stating her account had been hacked and not to accept friend requests. And then I said I'd get back to her. I did some investigating, and what I discovered was quite enlightening. The first thing to note is that it is impossible in Facebook to send a friend request to someone who is already your friend. It's not possible. So how does hacking an account and allow the hacker to send out new friend requests? Well, courtesy of this, I'm out of time, so we'll just have to turn up next week. That's Mike from LSA Systems.
Mike? Sorry, yes. Terry's next, and he's followed by John.
Thanks, mate. Yeah, good morning, everybody. Terry Mailey from TM Law Solicitors. I've got 2 or 3 cases on at the minute where my clients are shareholders in the company and they've fallen out. Either one's left or they're falling out. and they're trying to unravel things. And so it's a two-part tale really. One is I'm now helping them trying to buy out the shareholder who they've fallen out with or who wants to leave. And the second part is if you know anyone or you're in business with anyone, make sure you've got a shareholders agreement because it makes life so much easier. Mr. Squire here will draft one for a very reasonable fee. If you don't have one, you're going to end up, or your acquaintances or family or friends will end up where I am with these people at the minute. We could end up in the High Court. Ultimately, the High Court could order the company to be wound up. That's the Armageddon situation. So if you know anyone involved in the shareholders dispute, give them my details. I'll be happy to talk to them. If you're in business and haven't got a shareholders agreement, get one. Very mailing, CM Law. Thank you.
Thank you, Terry. Thank you for putting forward what I'm going to put forward later on in my 60 seconds.
John. Good morning, everybody. I'm John Hammond from JMH Technology. We supply all the electronic security needs, CCTV, access control, or barriers and gates. Barriers and gates is what I want to talk to you about today. We test every barrier and gate with a force initializers. It is got to be done once a year to be compliant. We issue a certificate to say you are compliant, or give you a recommendation what you need to have done to make it compliant. But barriers, gates, automatic doors need to be tested with a force meter once a year to comply. If you don't comply and someone gets hurt, even tell you it's not going to help you because you're going to be in serious trouble. And if you know any clients who's got automatic doors, gates and barriers, we can do a test. Reasonable fee of £250. That's John from JMH Technology, applying technology to security.
Great, thank you very much, John. Jane, you are followed by Tina.
Good morning, everybody. I'm Jane from the English Cream Tea Company as an ambassador for afternoon tea in the UK. I kind of am. I'm going to do a quick poll this morning because this is what I spend my life fielding. Hands up if you say scone instead of scone. Okay, it's just over half, I think. I'm going to go with 55%. Hands up if you're jam before cream.
Oh. Yes.
Minority. It's only about 20%. Okay. Hands up if you add butter as well. Ooh.
Only for
okay. Yes, that's about 15%. And hands up if your milk before tea in your cup. An intervention may be required. See you next week. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Had we been in the north of England, I take it would have all been strong, would we?
Maybe Her Majesty was scone.
Yeah. Of course she not.
Exactly. I say scone if it's any indication.
Right. Thank you very much.
I'm here.
Tina, you're next, followed by me.
Good morning, everybody. My name's Tina. My company's called Liberty Executive Services. I support the secretarial and admin services. The sun is out, and everyone is now on about their holidays or looking forward to spending the weekend away with friends, but they can't find the time to finish off their reports or just informing people that they're not going to be around. That is where I can help. So if you know anybody that needs support through the summer period, or actually any time, pass them my details and I'll be happy to help. So that's me, Tina, Liberty Executive Services. I'm not a 9-to-5. I'm start to finish now over to you, Aidan.
I need support to stand up. James White from TM Law. Contracts of employment, that's what I do a lot of. I act for employees, advising them about their contracts, but principally, and the best reference for me, is to act for an employer in preparing contracts of employment for their business. They come in various guises. Shareholders' agreements, often there needs to be a contract of employment for one of the incoming people in order to provide the obligations that link into a shareholders' agreement. I obviously do shareholders' agreements as well. Share sales, often an owner stays on after the sale and there needs to be a contract of employment for that owner for the period of time he's going to continue to be there. And finally, just plain and simple, you have an obligation as an employer to provide written details of the contract. Don't mess around, make it work for you. Get a detailed agreement, does the work, get your employer on board as to what they should be doing. That's it from the members. Chris, have 60 seconds.
Scott didn't warn me about this. There you go. I'll have words with him on the scene. I've worked with Scott for, well, I don't know, 20 years, I don't know. I do all his admin, which gives him time to do his web design and all the back end stuff. But without an admin, really, business can't exist. So, you know, you're a forgotten but needy person. I've been doing EBF ever since it began, so I've recognised all your faces. I'm not very good with names, so bear with me on that. But it's great to sort of see everyone and actually be chatting to people that I see every week on the website. I do record everything, so it's really good to meet you all, and maybe I'll come again, but it's a bit early. Maybe. All right, thank you.
Yeah, well, now you've seen us, you must come again. That's great. Right, that's the end of the 60-second round. Leanne, award the Oscar.
Yeah, I always like Ben.
Yeah.
He always makes it entertaining and fun.
But.
Yeah.
Too good.
But it's toss up between Mike and James actually, because they both win.
That's
So
it, I'm
yeah,
out.
Sorry, Ben. But they both went above and beyond for their time. So I'm going to go with
Neither.
Politics on Friday. Not hear you say that means I've got to be here next week.
I'll judge it next week.
Yeah. Thank you. Thank you very much, Leanne. Well done, James. Right. That's the end of the 60-second round. We move on. Terry, meeting secretary report. How have we done with referrals?
So we've got one of these is going to be discounted because it's all greasy, but we've got. We've got 14 referrals and £1,400.
Great, thank you very much, Terry. Actually, an extra bit. Synergy sheet report.
There is one thing, Scott raised it last week and Scott's mum's just reminded me. I don't know if we've got different members here from last week. Someone on around the 23rd of June put in a £1,560 for an ex-member pass, refurb garden rooms and attended a synergy meeting. Would anyone like to claim it? Because otherwise it's just going to get torn up, not recorded. So £1,560 ex-member for an ex-member. Thank you for my ex-member, refurb garden rooms and attending some.
That's my point.
Would that be John Friedman? Would that be John Friedman if it's refurbs?
I blame the admin.
No, it's someone. Oh, thank you very much.
Okay. There was a synergy team meeting on Tuesday, and despite the fact that everybody knew Paul wasn't going to be there, we had 8 of us there and we had a great meeting. So thank you all for turning up, and we'll no doubt be hearing from Jane next as to when hers is and when we can all turn up for hers. That leads us into the Cheltenham presentation. So Ben will now try to alliterate and do other things in order to make the introductions and tell us about the speakers for the coming week.
Thank you very much. Yeah, so before I introduce today's speaker, give you an update on the upcoming rota. So next week on the 20th we have Matt doing his 10 minutes. So we're going to be having the quiz there, and the education slot will be provided by Auntie Jane. Then on to the 27th, Mike Skinner will be doing the 10 minutes, and Vince will be doing the education slot. Into August, Brian for the 3rd of August, and I'll be doing the ed slot, and then full booth on the 10th with Nick doing the education slot. When it's your turn to do your 10 minutes, please go to the EBF website, download the bio sheet and get it to me a day or 2 beforehand. And if you can't do your 10 minutes or if not for whatever reason, please let me know ASAP, and we'll do our best to swap things around. And I'll send an email out later, hopefully today, for the whole of August and September, so you know when yours will be. So, just a reminder that you have 10 minutes for your presentation, so that's 8 minutes worth of presentation and 2 minutes worth of questions. And after 8 minutes, you will hear, just to let you know that you've got 2 minutes left. So if you eat up some of your question time, then that's up to you. So, today's speaker, we have Mr. Toby Acton from Pole Position Business Solutions Limited. And he is the second in command because Donna is the boss. Nature of business is business solutions, mentoring, growth and development, and team motivation. Area is located, it's based in Highlonga, however, most of the known universe. So, a couple of bits about Toby. So, Toby's best day out is a Tuesday. However, Thursdays can be quite good sometimes as well. Something that he admires in others is a good memory, ability to concentrate, and he can't remember the other thing. Okay, so a movie that you recommend is Joy. Now, it's about a single mum who invents a mop and builds an incredible business from it. And it's a great story about entrepreneurship, tenacity, resilience, and adaptation in business. But most importantly, Jennifer Lawrence looks quite hot in it. And finally, a famous person that Toby has met. Well, there might be a couple that get mentioned over the next 10 minutes, so listen carefully. So please put your hands together for Mr. Toby Acton. Uh-oh.
It's always a pull to get straight up, isn't it?
Yeah.
Good morning everyone, and good morning Toby, lovely to see you this morning. Toby and I actually know each other a good few years now, so I thought it would be good for some of the guys here today to get to know you a lot better than they do. I mean, when I did my 10 minutes last week, I gave people a list of years, went through my life, what happened to me and what I've done over those years. So it got me thinking, maybe we can use that same sort of format for you here, Toby, and go through some significant times in your life. Would that be okay with you?
That's an absolutely excellent idea.
Thank you. So perhaps let's start with an easy one for you, which is always good to start gently. 1971, what does that mean to you?
Oh yeah, 1971, that was the year that I was born actually. Yeah, for instance. It's also the year that Elon Musk was born. He seems to be doing a little bit better in business than me, but hey ho. It was also the year that Jackie Stewart won his second World Championship. Obviously I wasn't aware of that at the time. Also he wasn't aware that I'd been born, and neither of us were at that stage that we would one day share a urinal together and have a pee standing next to each other 35 years later.
That gets my mind wondering. We'll come back to that later on. So moving on now, maybe 5 years, 1976. Any significance to you?
Yes, it does actually. Yeah, thanks for bringing that one up. I remember the long hot summer of 1976. I also remember my uncle coming over from Canada, where he lives, and simply down to watch a Formula One Grand Prix, which was the first time that I'd ever seen Grand Prix. It was the Canadian Grand Prix. James Hunt won. And that was the year that Lauder had his big accident, and James was picking up wins while Lauder was injured, and he went on to narrowly win the championship. And my uncle had actually brought over a Betamax videotape, and my dad had borrowed a recorder, and that was the first time I'd ever seen a video recorder either. And you asked, why didn't we watch it on the BBC? Well, here's a little known fact, maybe interesting to some, that in 1976 the BBC didn't broadcast many of the Grand Prix because the Surtees team was sponsored by Durex condoms, and they thought that it wasn't appropriate to be shown on the BBC. Worried people might start having sex and things like that. Safe, albeit safe. The thing is that most of the other cars were covered in tobacco advertising. Another point. They did eventually relent at the end of the season because the rivalry between Hunt and Lauder, and they did show the season finale in Japan. My uncle goes to the Canadian Grand Prix every year, and I've been with him a couple of years. At one point, we did have a business together.
That's very interesting, Toby. Thank you for sharing that with us. So looking ahead now, how about 1980? Was that another significant year?
Funny that you asked that. Thank you. That was actually the year that I had my very first business at the tender age of 9 years old. we had a huge horse chestnut tree in the garden, and I used to gather the conkers, take them into school and sell them. Then I started drilling holes in them, putting string on them, adding value, and then I started pickling them to make them harder. I can't actually remember what I charged for them, but I do remember sometimes I swapped them for stuff from the tuck shop as well. 1980 was also the year that I really started getting into Formula One. It was the year that Williams won their first Drivers and Constructors Championship, and I loved it, and I've followed Williams ever since, even though that in recent years they've struggled a bit.
Wow, thank you. So, tender age already an entrepreneur then. Moving ahead a few more years, how about, off the top of my head it says here, 1988?
Yeah, 1988, that was the year that McLaren dominated Formula One. They won 11 races in a row, a feat that's only just been matched by Red Bull last Sunday. They went on to win all but one of the races of the year, a feat that Red Bull could unfortunately beat this year. I mean, as much as I hate them, I have to admit they've got a bloody good race car. And it was, of course, the year that the late great Essex won his first championship as well.
Wow. So, you were running a business in 1988?
No, I don't think I actually was running a business at that time. I spent the summer of '88 working in a place that we made paving slabs and garden ornaments down in Wimborne, Dorset, where I grew up, and delivering sand and gravel. And we had a big 7-ton tipper truck, and this was just like two months after I'd passed my test, and I was out driving this 7-ton tipper truck, which when it was empty was seriously quick actually. That was a lot of fun. The reason I mention that is because many years, I stayed in touch with the owner, Simon, and many years later I was having a chat with him, and he wanted to retire, wanted to fold up his business. I could see potential in it, so I actually bought the business, and that was the first business that I ever bought, put a bit of money into his pension pot, and I built it up, modernised it, got a manager and a team on board, and then sold it on after a couple of years. Funnily enough, he went on, when he retired, he became chairman of his local parish council, and I'm now chair of my local parish council.
Oh, that is really interesting. It's quite serendipitous in a way. Let's use a long word like that. So moving forward, how about 1994? Did anything happen then?
Yeah, 1994, that was actually the year that I graduated from the University of Salford with a degree in quantity surveying of all things, which was a bit useless considering I decided in my final year that I didn't want to be a quantity surveyor. I only got a 2-1 in my degree because during my course I discovered computers and computer games and the early version of the internet. At that time there were no graphics or hyperlinks on the internet. We had to telnet from one IP address to another. We had worked on a system called JANET, the Joint Academic Network, which Stuart probably knows. And we had a system called Kermit for downloading files. You'd have to apply overnight to download a file. Emails used to take 4 or 5 hours to come through. And I was actually on the first ever internet chat. It was called Cat Chat. You can look it up. It was in about 1990. And then I was actually helped with the coding of the second ever internet chat program. That was called Cheese Blast House, and that was in 1991. And that was actually the first ever chat program. We had over 100 users using simultaneously. So it was really interesting and exciting times. It was no coincidence that my first business I ever started was actually an IT business. I have a couple of IT businesses, but I sort of feel I've been a bit left behind by technology now. And I vouch for the greater knowledge of the likes of Mike for that.
1994. What about Formula One? You ever mentioned that? Any memories?
Yes, yeah. Sadly, that was the year that my hero Ayrton Senna died. Of course, Roland Ratzenberger as well. That was also, we saw the rise of Michael Schumacher, his first World Championship, very controversial situation with Damon Hill. It was also the year that I married my first wife, who was also a Formula One fan, but unfortunately it was just about all we had in common.
Very interesting. Let's move on to this century. What about 2001?
That was actually the year that I met my now wife, who's not interested in Formula One, but thankfully we do have a lot of other stuff in common. It was also Schumacher's 4th championship year, and it was the year that I started my business with my uncle in Canada. It was a fuel additive business that did quite well. I also had a courier business, a logistics business, and a network marketing business at the same time.
Busy boy, busy boy. So if we jump forward a little bit, what about 2006? What's happening to you?
2006 was the year that Don and I started our market research business together, which was a huge amount of fun. I always believe in having fun in business, and that was a great time. It was also the last time that I ever went to the British Grand Prix. I was a guest of the British Racing Drivers Club, and I sat in their exclusive grandstand. I talked to so many people involved in Formula One. Had lunch on a table with Damon Hill and Flavio Briatore. Chatted with Sterling Moss and Katie Rosberg, and the highlight of my life, I had a piece standing next to Jackie Stewart. I believe it's also the highlight of his life. Yeah.
Thank you for that. So, 2014, what happened then, Toby?
That was Lewis Hamilton's second championship year and his first for Mercedes. And that was the year that I first discovered business networking. Quickly realised the power of it, and I grew to love it. It was also about that time that I started business mentoring. Initially just working with a couple of friends, one who wanted to grow his business, the other who was struggling and needed to turn it around. And both of them were success stories, and I enjoyed it. I seem to be reasonably good at it.
Brilliant. Bring us a bit more up to date. What about 2019?
That was Lewis Hamilton's 6th championship year and the year that I joined Essex Business Forum. One of the best business decisions that I've ever made. It's also the year that I married my wife Donna. One of the best personal decisions that I've ever made, or so she tells me.
Brilliant. Taking us even further up to date now, last year, 2022, any significant milestones in your life? Of course, you can't forget Formula One.
Well, Max Verstappen won the championship, so let's ignore that. I became a licensed practitioner of motivational maps and an NLP practitioner to complement that to the existing offerings that I've got. It was also the year that Pole Position Business Solutions was born with the help of Matt Barry and Blue Serif. Eventually I will get my website done with Scott's help, but that might take us forward to about 2025 rate I'm going at the moment.
Well, thank you, Toby, for taking us through a brief history of your life, your business, and clearly your love of Formula One. I'm just pleased that you managed to use my format for 10 minutes. Thank you, Toby.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
I have the time in as well.
Yeah.
10 minutes and 1 second.
10 minutes and 100%.
Oh, 100%.
Let's have a question, thank you.
Don't get all excited.
Oh, yeah.
Sit down. Right. The referrals round is next. Do the running or the driving round. Start with Brian, if we may, and work our way round, please.
Yeah. Well, I'm also interested in Formula One. Interesting life story. I have a referral for Vincent, who's kindly did action. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Toby. It's a very good presentation. I like that format. Toby helped us. We've done the motivational map thing within our team. It's very, very interesting, very useful, good results. Thank you, Ben, for your excellent. And Chris, I to see you again. I see the brains behind the operation.
Yeah, and the beauty.
Quick 10 minutes, chaps. Toby, we've been working together for quite a while. Firstly, I joined your peer-to-peer mentoring group, and you've given me so much advice certainly over the last sort of 3 years or so, that's been able to sort of been able to structure the business, fill the gaps, and have a better vision, which I'm indebted to you, so thank you. Likewise, with LG Networks, we've also done the motivational mapping, which has been really, really insightful, and a way to sort of benchmark what's driving our staff so that we can better achieve them. So, thanks. Thank you. I'm emotional. I have a referral for Scott, aka Chris. From the orthodontic, an old member here, doing their website. I've also a referral for Scott, aka Chris, for a youth creative programme for Havering Council Stroke Queen's Theatre, which is right up our trust. Very nice. Lovely to see you. And Chris.
Yeah, lovely meeting. Ben.
Toby.
was enjoyable, Kevin. I too have partaken in the baseball maps, and we found it really interesting. I must admit I didn't know half the history that you went through there. My only sort of sadness for you really is that you never saw England in the World Cup in 1966.
There's still time. Maybe the ladies.
Yeah. And welcome, Chris. Nice to meet you.
Thank you for the head start. I think we're showing about 60 seconds, isn't it? Whatever you put in.
I know. That's it, don't worry, that was so for Leanne.
Yeah, very interesting. I actually managed to watch the F1 at the weekend. Yeah. I had 2 naps, but I did watch it. So,
just ignore Max out the front, watch the rest of the race.
I have a 1-to-1 that goes there, so I'll save you a minute. Sorry, go on. It would be interesting to see whether you describe your current wife as your now wife.
I know, yeah.
Suggesting
Current
that
wife.
there might be, yeah. Conversation.
Gotta keep her on the toes.
I spoke to Essex Mason, isn't it? Ex-member. He's given me 24 hours to sort out a very complicated policy, and I've been on the golf course for 4 of them, so that's going to be my challenge for today. And I'll see you next week.
Great head slot then, and good 60 seconds. I thought you did deserve to win, really. What have I got on this? 1-to-1. I thought that was really I really enjoyed all the Formula 1 background. As I said, there's not going to be a blog this week, I don't think, because Scott's not here, is he? But I am going to put the video up on YouTube. And it's worth everyone watching James absolutely discuss the whole way through it. Every time I looked over, a new reference just came in. I had a 1-to-1 with Kieran this week, ex-member, and he just went to say hello to everyone. He's doing very well, and we're going to do some architecture videos, don't take any points for that. And thanks to Matt as well, for someone we met in common that passed some work over as well. So, thank you. Good. Okay, it's going to be a block. Sorry.
Really good. I thought you might have sung your 60 seconds, or actually your excellent.
Okay, I'm good. Don't know if I can sing about Patrick Carr. Well, yeah, that's true.
Really good. Go back to quite a few years. And I did even a half of that. Really good. This is for Terry. I'll pass the details to Kieran to Gary Jacob. Is it done? Yeah. Lovely. Well, Sharon?
Hi, it's just really opened my eyes a bit because I've always been back-end and not seen this. And it's been really great experience to listen to you all what you represent, the companies you represent, what you're doing. And attendance was great. I'm a Formula 1 widow, so it's on. I like the beginnings and I like the end. And then it crashes. That's about it.
That's why we
But yeah, I was familiar with all the wording because it's on. But no, thank you for making me so welcome. It's really good to meet you all and good slot. I often read the blogs when I'm doing everything and all your comments. And I think, where'd you get all that info from?
Yeah.
To put it all together and make things rhyme and sound funny. It's great. Good skill. Good skill. Well done.
Thank you very much.
Maybe I'll come next week. I don't know. See if I can. Thank you.
Thank you for your questions. Yeah, what I'm saying, what have you got against Max Verstappen?
What have I got for him?
Apart from thank you winning. Referral for Tina, says in the document, you might need to train this.
Yeah, no, I haven't got one.
Then she won't cut it.
No.
It'll be cool. One for Melissa, Stella, she's from down there. And attended really good senior meetings, always something to from that senior meeting. And well, maybe you could jazz it up a bit more if you're going to get your husband.
Oh, sorry, I forgot. Great signature meeting. And it's nice to see Howard, but he's not here today.
I think it was his one effort of the week.
Oh, right. No, thank you so much for jumping. I'm sorry.
Commiserations to your wife. The only problem with Formula 1, and I enjoy watching it, is nobody gets the ball. That seems to me to be a bit of a waste of time from that point of view. I got a referral for Rosemary. For holidays sometime in November. I'm looking ahead. Yes, there will be, as usual, my blog will be there before you, but I will be sending it round by email. So you get it as an email. Therefore, if you want to make comments in answer to the email, and we'll be happy to receive those. And then, as I say, you've got some there. Yeah, that's good. So yes, so you will be receiving that for your sins. And yes, I attended the Synergy meeting, and it was great fun. That's it.
Great. It was. Oh, you've done so much before I was even born. So and we are going to be doing some motivational mappings, aren't we? Now with a that would be really well done. Thank you. And yeah, one-to-one there with Tina. And got a thank you for the money there, ex-member Paul DeLue, who I saw on Saturday, sends his love to everybody. And he got me roped into singing on the stage at his school fete last weekend as well. So yeah, great meeting, see you next week.
Thank you, Toby. As you know, I've known you ever since we first met. Indeed. And John, thank you for the pen, by the way. Not scratch on there. I have a Steve print pen, which I'll show you. Use that one. And a referral really for Auntie Jane. It's 2 adults for the summer gathering plus 1 schnitzel.
Can you do that as a referral?
Yeah. Of course it is.
Great minutes, Toby. I know nothing about 41, but now I feel like I know loads. So thank you. I don't know how you remembered all that, but it was brilliant.
I'm older now.
I think you should sing it. I'd love to hear you sing.
I'll bring a CD.
Your voice, so I think you must be a great singer.
Oh, thank you very
I've
much.
got a YouTube.
I'll pay you later. I'll bring a CD in one day when I'm for the show. Yeah, that's a referral.
Nice to meet Chris.
Yes,
yeah. When I think about all what you do more than Scott probably.
Yeah.
It's just different. Yeah. But thank you all. Lovely meeting.
It's different.
Great 10 minutes, Toby, really interesting. I will introduce you to a friend of mine who's the race director at Silverstone.
Ooh.
Like him.
Oh.
Yeah. Stuart, please, can you get onto HMRC and sort out their phone?
They're always phoning me.
I've got a referral for Paul. Bonus one.
Thank you.
Another one through Terry Main, just sort of explain how networking works and just sort of highlight. Terry introduced me to an accountant, who's then referred me to the client peers, so it's all kind of usually working nicely. And then a referral for Sarah Steele, ex-member, mortgage. Great 10 minutes, great excellent.
It was that good. It needs to be mentioned twice.
See you all next week.
Yeah, enjoyed the meeting today, thanks very much. Good educational shot. I enjoyed your 60 seconds as well. I know it wasn't quite good enough for you. Keep working. Enjoy the Synergy meeting this week, enjoyed your 10 minutes. When I do the next time, just slow the words, please. It's a little long for me. And I'm looking forward to our one-time afterwards. Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, great, it's not. Thank you guys. I'll try getting someone along, but Blake's wife is a bit shy, so.
Great, it's lot. I'm actually into Extreme Me, so I don't know if you've watched that. It's,
Yeah, I love Extreme Me, it's great. Really good.
I've got a referral for Vince.
Ah.
Which I sent them on colour. Talk to Blake about that one.
Yeah.
and hopefully I'll see you all next week.
Great meeting as always. What do we got off at the end? Came round to see me and my wife to give us some personal advice on how best we can improve our front room. Brilliant. Excellent.
Thank you.
Excellent. And first class 10-minute presentation. I have a thank you for the business to Jane. Well, if you could work with it for you.
And I have a.
Doesn't do much for that. It's B2C meeting item to keep that.
Thank you. Yeah, great slots, Ben, and great. 6 seconds, thanks for really nice to meet you. You can see the power behind the throne. I've got a referral to Jane for some birthday cakes that she's given me today. I've got a referral to Jane for a bottle of liqueur. I have got a referral to Terry, who is chasing an ex-client for some money. And I attended the professional synergy meeting. Yeah, that was it from me. I'm hoping to be here next week. Jane's going to give me a lift if I'm up to it, because I'm not going to need to drive for a couple of weeks. Hello.
Great meeting. Sorry, Ben.
Who's speaking?
And Maya. And everyone else. Yeah, I had a long visit this week. Really nice to meet you and really lovely to meet you. Hi, Chris. Nice to see you. I'm so ready to see you. Yeah. Oh, great to meet you. Great to meet you. Really interesting. My husband's in. So yeah, see, I won't be here for the next 2 weeks, so have a good meeting.
So I forgot to say thank you to Paul for his assistance and beautifully crafted questions.
The roll doesn't touch.
I thought of the Hugh Edwards.
Oh dear. I loved the start of the meeting, well played, pack of cards, loved it, good analogy. Even when you can see where it's going, it's still got the impact, I loved it. Toby, well done. It reminded me years ago, probably before you were born. That's one of the times I was cringing when you said that you were old. No.
I thought he was older.
Oh, actually, John, that's not good.
So years ago I watched a programme, they were giving small children the chance to commentate and be presenters, and this little girl was given, and she kept saying, the Grand Prix, this and that. Stopping it. But it says here, Grand Prix, and I have every sympathy with her. I'm kind of in that. I appreciated your 10 minutes, well done. And also thank you for the pen. Don't we love those with the little squidgy bit on the end? Thank you everybody, great meeting. Oh, also, thank you for the
I haven't given it to you yet, but...
Your lift next week might depend on it.
Right.
Oh, we're going to draw a...
Thank you. Come and draw for your speed of prize.
Just a bottle of water.
Any of my obvious.
Matt, not the one doing.
Every time you say that, I get it.
Well,
Yeah.
there you go. There you go.
Thanks, Jane.
Toby, thank you very, very much indeed for your 10 minutes. Well done, Paul, in supporting him. Great 10 minutes, and as I say, we'll see what happens next week. Right, this week, Matt, we're coming to the oh, that was well there. Right, before we bring it to an end, has anybody got any announcements they wish to make to the meeting? Jane?
Hello everybody, next week is the other Synergy meeting, and it takes place straight after the meeting, usually out the back there. Please stay if you can, and this is technically B2C, but actually everybody's welcome, and our topic is going to be preserving a good reputation. I wonder if you will join.
Right. Yeah, no, I won't.
Right. I'd like to remind you, just in case you need it, of the garden event on the 29th of this month. So initiatives were really important, like food shopping, visiting your mother-in-law, clearing out your garage for delivery. I suggest you could do no better than visit Auntie Jane on the 29th of the garden event. Thank you. Before I sit down, I learned something very, very interesting about the Titanic. Because even after all these years, he actually found water in the swimming pool.
Right. I think that's, yeah. Right. It's been a great meeting. Everybody nice and lively, that's what I like to see. It's nice to see Chris and hopefully see her again. Remember, as I say, if you can't attend and you can arrange for staff to come along, please do so. Keep our numbers up when visitors come along, it's always very, very helpful. Other than that, I send you on your way, out to the sunshine, enjoy the week, and I'll see you next week.